o'clock, November 11th, meeting of the Leisure Service and Advisory Board. Call to order, pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance for which it stands, States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Got ahead of myself.
For
which it stands.
For which
on
it
the line.
stands.
Because we were standing. Because we were standing.
Citizen open forum. Becky speaking.
Hi, Miss Becky, welcome.
You're just listening in, okay?
Wonderful, well, welcome.
All right, moving on to approval of minutes dated August 12th, 2019.
What did I do?
Any
I do want to
corrections,
make just a quick
additions?
comment. Thank you for being so detailed in the minutes. I saw even with my 2 cents, you were very detailed, so thank you very much. Minutes have been very good. I move to approve the minutes from August 12th.
I think it was verbatim.
12th meeting?
Well,
Yes, it was pretty much verbatim, yeah.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Monthly reports.
Hi, everybody. Is it my turn?
Yes,
Hi, Felicia,
monthly
welcome.
reports.
Glad to be here. Session 2 of summer camp was sold out already, 75 children.
Wow, good.
52 participants in cardio drumming at Cypress Forest, so it's a super busy October, November. We had Celebrate Oldsmar on October 5th. We had 4 bands, bounce houses, and fireworks. Were you guys all there? I know I saw a couple of you there.
Most of us were.
I was out of town.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. The bounce houses were spectacular.
And the city table was active and happening, and Gina was there with the Paint the Rocks. I think it was excellent to have that type of stuff involved too.
I enjoyed the 4 bands too. I know it's probably not time.
I didn't
for me
hear
to
too much
give my own
grumbling about missing some old ones, so.
We had our hockey rink grand opening on October 12th. We had about 150 people there. It was fantastic. Drop-in hockey play's been very steady. We've had at least a dozen people or more every night for drop-in. League play starts tonight, so it's our first night of league play. The first Sunset Sounds was rained out on October 18th, but we had one 2 weeks ago.
On the
I
first.
think it was
It's last week.
November 1st.
There's one last week. yeah.
last week, and it was a huge success. So it looked like a golf cart drive-in there. We had a lot of golf cart parking, and a lot of people came out, so that was really
Oh,
good.
wow, I didn't see it.
Haunted happenings, we had some rain again, but we kept going. It says here, Suda did a great job on the costume contest.
Well,
as
thank you.
usual.
We kept it in an hour or two. I was amazed.
Wow, I heard that it was fantastic, and Chip said there was about 350 people there.
Yeah, it was a good turnout.
Fantastic. So we had Sunset Sounds, and then the talent show was Friday. I went. I thought it was fantastic.
We had over 120 in the audience because we had 112 chairs, and they brought
Yes.
more chairs in, and you guys were standing, so we appreciate you offering chairs to some of those others.
I was holding up the wall. It was good, and the acts were amazing. I thought
Yes.
everything was great. The playground at Richard Rogers is installed. Have you guys been by there?
I did see that, because
So
somebody
you guys should
pointed out.
take a run by there. It's really nice. It's
Is that the one over by the
the fire
fire
station.
station? Yeah, Zach pointed it out, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting
Because I go by there every.
New playground.
New playground in the back of the fire
playground.
station
That's a big
area.
deal. And the playground is like a fire engine theme.
Mm-hmm.
It's red. It's really nice. We hosted Largo United Soccer for their Halloween tournament at the end of October. So if you guys were close to Oldsmar Sports Complex, I passed by. There was a ton of people there. Opal has begun and it's been successful so far. Their performance will be Lion King. I saw a smidgen of that, a little
Yeah, we had one
precursor.
number in the talent show.
Fantastic. I was singing it on the way home. We're down 2.5 members right now in our park staff. And so, we're trying to keep up with all the maintenance. I've noticed that the medians are looking fantastic. So it's not growing season, or it should slow down a little.
Yeah.
It's always really difficult during growing. Things grow so fast. We also have a sport facility operator position that hopefully will be starting soon that'll concentrate on the rink. that's all I got.
I do, oh.
Oh, you guys have questions?
Oh, no, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to say that, I mean, even today at the service, I mean, the staff, and I think, what was there, not too long ago, there was another function that they did that, I mean, they cleaned everything up right away and did everything and they made accommodations for the nursing home today because they didn't have notice, and they just went right there, and everybody just went real fast and like robots and got everything done. But
They're very efficient at
Yes.
those events, for sure. You barely even notice that we have staff there, but they've been, it takes a lot, from the parking to the refreshments and hot dogs and all
yeah.
of that.
Seamless. What's the criteria for using the rink? Is it open time at a certain?
Yep, we have some open times, so there's a lot of drop-in play that you can just come, or you can come on league nights, and I believe that will set you up with a league. That's really gonna be a Chip question.
Looking to play, are you?
Just
Just curious.
senior league.
Yeah, I believe that they are looking at an over 40 league.
Oh, that was,
Thinking a little higher.
We're talking a couple more decades, you just keep going there, Deb.
the floor that they have now is just for shoes, right? And then, but they can lift it up if they wanted to do rollerblades? Is that,
Floor is made for rollerblades.
Right.
It's a specialized sports court
oh,
flooring.
okay.
And it's made for both.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if it was covered up for rollerblading and, or,
No,
okay.
it actually will accommodate both. And
Oh, good, okay.
And right now, we're just trying to get the actual street hockey
Right.
going before we start venturing out into other things. There's all sorts of things that we think we can use the rink for, from, indoor soccer, pickleball, all sorts of, different, in basketball, dodgeball. There's just a lot of uses to have a confined space like
Right.
that. So the sports facility programmer is going to be looking at all those.
Okay.
I just wanted to add something. In our last meeting, I volunteered to be in a few events, and I just wanted to say I participated in the meetings for Haunted Happenings, and I was at Haunted Happenings helping out with the registration and all that, and I had a ball. I had an amazing time. The staff is very welcoming, and we were just like, we knew each other and we were working together, so I really appreciate that, and I'm working on Christmas Wonderland as well, so.
I think it's those types of events that make us a community. So I'm really glad that you had a good experience.
Yeah, I did one of them previously, so we didn't really establish how our role was beyond to go to the board. So you guys all got a lengthy, of course, because I do nothing in a small way, report from the meeting that I went to on Celebrate Oldsmar. Do we want to establish a protocol if we report to the board verbally, or an email that goes around, because sometimes we're way far apart, or we haven't established beyond us going to a meeting? We said a statement of report back to the board. Anybody have any suggestions, recommendations, preferences? Should we just not worry about, you just have a member there and that's our point, and we don't have to worry about reporting back? Or should we drop an email of our involvement?
Well, if you have information that if somebody didn't go, I would
Well,
think that
the
it would.
committee meetings aren't anybody of us going except for the one person that's been invited to represent our board.
Okay.
So like when I went to Celebrate Oldsmar meeting, I sent around an email, which I thought, to some extent, if you were interested in the event, it was informative because it told you the name
Right,
of the
that's right,
bands and the
yeah.
different things that were going on and stuff like that. So I'm asking, should we establish, or should we just say we're having a representative there and they can tell us a little bit about it at the next meeting?
Could be a judgment, whatever you think's pertinent.
Okay.
Yeah, like I thought,
Like Carmen's come, yeah.
I thought as far as my participation, the ones reporting would be Chip and, to the higher ups. Obviously, if I did something wrong, they would find out about it. But aside from the fact that we worked together and I was able to collaborate, I didn't.
As
have
far
anything
as what you sent out, maybe we knew the bands before we normally would have.
Right.
As an
I
example.
didn't, so it was informative to me, so,
Yeah,
you know.
so
but-
that was pertinent.
Okay, so if it's something that may be more informative meeting of a bigger event or something, we can send around a little email follow-up, or if it's just a quick follow-up from Haunted Happenings, one of our smaller little events, we can just kind of report in at the next meeting that it was well attended or went well, et cetera. Okay.
And along those lines, I was the volunteer for the Sunset Sounds, and we had originally a meeting request that came out, and I responded that I wouldn't be able to make it. I have a pretty busy schedule, but I didn't receive any more correspondence after that. I followed up, and I still didn't hear back. However, I did not go to the November 1st one. My intention was to just go regardless, but I didn't end up making it. So I'll be at the next one, but if there's anything specific I need to know, I would appreciate knowing that.
I'll follow up on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did it?
And I am supposed to be working with Eric on talent for Christmas Wonderland, and I haven't heard, so
Eric over at the rec center.
yeah.
We have established Miss Suda's Dancers for their 17th year, I think, will be performing starting off at 5 p.m. And then we also have the Old Time Carolers, which typically follow us. And then beyond that, it's in Eric's hands on whatever other pieces they're doing.
Yeah, we
Hector
have-
will be there to handle sound.
So if, I don't know, his number or anything,
I will follow up on both of that. So Gina, I'm gonna,
He's at the rec center.
you
most
and
of the
Carmen,
time.
I'll have Eric contact you.
yeah, because I have someone, the band from Bayside Church, they in the past had played at the Oldsmar Winter Wonderland years ago, and they're more than willing to also come and sing.
Yeah, I'll have Eric reach out to you.
Okay.
I'll mention it to him if I see him to follow up as well.
Thank you for that.
Okay, projects updates.
Yes, that's me
That's you
again?
too.
Okay. So we did receive a notice to proceed from Florida Department of Environmental Protection for the Spray Park grant. So it's a tremendous amount of work that Chip had to do to receive that notice because it's land and water conservation funds. And that's a federal funding source, so it comes with all sorts of federal requirements. So that's a really big milestone. So I'm pleased to announce that. We're working right now on the new Experience magazine, the Experience Oldsmar magazine. So we're working on that now for the December, January, and February issue. They installed the netting on Field 8 at Oldsmar Sports Complex. They purchased and implemented the use of a tow-behind attenuator. You all know what that is? So I don't have a picture. I'm going to try to explain it.
As long as you know what it is.
What?
A tow
It goes
behind
behind. It
attenuator.
goes behind a truck, and you see them all the time. You just probably didn't know they were called this. It's the ones that has like the yellow and the black bars, and it's got flashing lights on it. And so it protects the safety of
Warning,
our
yeah.
parks personnel in the medians. And so, drivers are often distracted. So drivers have, not here in Oldsmar, but have certainly hit people in the past that are like, they're edging. So this thing it goes behind the crews to give them a level of safety.
okay.
So if a car hits it, hopefully it hits the tow behind attenuator and not one of our staff members.
Oh,
So it's a pretty big deal to have that in place. If you guys are in MSC anytime, the bathrooms were recently renovated, and our facility staff did that. They're beautiful. So you guys should take a look at that. We repaired the town center fountain. You guys notice that?
Yeah.
It looks all fresh and new. Again, we did that inside staff, so they did a really fantastic job. And also, we're working on some various projects around the city. Trail safety markers, Becky, that should be of interest to you. The trail signage, park signs, getting a lightning detector at OSC, and adopted trail park programs. So those are some more things that are on our radar.
How was the BMX evaluation?
Yeah.
That's my,
Yeah, we all had that.
we all have that question. Where are we at on BMX?
So the BMX evaluation, we have issued a notice to proceed and a contract to Ardura Engineering that they're going to put together something called the Design Criteria Package, DCP for short. And that design criteria package is necessary for us to procure a design build team to reconstruct the track. So this model is when you hire an engineer and all those sort of support services with a contractor, and they get hired together. And so that helps you with communication and seamlessness of construction. So that is the method that we have selected because BMX is, the whole structure is nothing short of complicated. It is a massive structure that, you know, you need somebody that is particularly experienced in that arena. So that's where we are presently.
Has there been any issue on numbers yet, or do you have to get with that group to get any kind of numbers of what it's going to take to repair it?
So it'll be reconstructed. It won't be repaired in place.
Understand.
And so that's part of the bid package. So when we goes out to bid, it could be, and we're so early in the process, it could be different types of materials. So one would be the replacement of a similar type of structure. It's called an MSCW, mechanically stabilized earthen wall. And you see them under overpasses a lot, right? So it could be that. It could be a structural steel structure. So there's some different options, and the way those usually work, and we're still very, we're in the infancy of the process, is that the prices come then.
Okay.
So when the teams come together, they'll give us a price. They call it a GMP, which means gross maximum price. So they'll come in with that number when we're considering that.
Do you have a timeline, scheduled on when all that will happen and some numbers will be tuned to it?
Not really.
A year, 2 years, 6 months?
It will be a while.
It will be a while. Definitely Gator Nationals February is well out, and possibly the following year.
I don't know all that, but the Gators for this February are definitely out.
Right. Okay.
I guess, am I the first one to know that there was something wrong with the BMX track? I didn't realize that.
Where have you been, my girl?
No, I know they haven't been doing anything, but I haven't seen anything.
We closed the track in April.
Okay, well,
Due
I know I
to
haven't
some-
seen anything, but
some
I
s-
didn't.
Some structural concerns, so we closed it. We had an assessment that confirmed those concerns, and so we're not able to open it. It's just, we would never want a child to be hurt.
And it's mainly the big hill. It's not the rest of the track per se, correct?
Correct. It's not actual the clay part, and
Right.
it's not the asphalt turns.
It's the big hill.
that big structure.
Gotcha.
How's the, how's the BMX Association? Are they still, they're not distancing themselves from us,
No,
are
we
they?
have a very strong relationship with them.
Good.
And so we were one of the first USA BMX tracks, I believe. You know, this predates me, but as I understand it from them, we were one of the first ones in the country to align ourselves with USA
They want us
BMX.
back up and running.
Gator Nationals is a very important race for them. So we have their full support.
Great.
It's actually a revenue generator for
Oh,
us.
big-
Yes,
Big time.
Of course.
Pardon?
It's also a
Right.
revenue generator for the city, I believe, for the
the-
businesses,
for
the
the
local
hotels,
businesses.
The
restaurants.
hotels and the restaurants.
Yeah, there's
yes.
certainly economic impact
Right.
associated with that.
Okay.
But I
Thank you.
have patience, it will be a while.
Paper.
Okay, so,
Go on, sorry.
okay, so I'm on the next item, the upcoming events.
Yep, upcoming events.
If you're done with project updates, you're on with upcoming events.
EMX covered that.
Sounds this Friday,
This Friday, what time?
y'all coming?
Wait, what?
Sunset Sounds is this Friday. Trop Rock Junkies was rescheduled. So it's this Friday.
At what time?
I'm not sure. What time
It started
was
around
it?
6, I think.
Yeah, I think it is 6.
It's
Yeah,
either s-
normally it starts around 6, and I noticed it stopped at
Oh,
9.
I think, yeah.
I live almost,
Website, Ann?
Yeah, it's somewhere. It should be on the website.
I live
don't
almost
wanna
right
give you
across the
wrong-
Was an
street.
email late.
I heard it when it started.
Okay,
when
I'll
it
look
stopped.
for it too.
The tree lighting ceremony on the 3rd. Also, we're going to be unveiling our art coordinator. We're doing a ribbon project down State Street where local businesses, she's got a dozen of them, and then, and some of the city trees, we're gonna tie ribbons to the crepe myrtles mainly down State Street. So at the same time, we're gonna have this ribbon tree exhibit going on. On December the 6th, we have Christmas Wonderland and the golf cart parade again. Then on 12/13, we have another Sunset Music Series, which is country.
Which one? What the country one? What date?
12/13.
And that'll about wrap up the year, huh?
The busy time of year.
A question, I do see it looks like instead of 6 to 9, or 5 to 9 as we did last year, it looks like we're doing Christmas Wonderland from 4 to 10 this year. Great, that'll give them more time on those long lines.
Oh,
Meaning there's been a time change in it, and I think that longer time is nice. It used to be 5 to 9, it used to be 6 to 9.
I know the golf cart parade is rolling at 5:30.
Yeah. But the booths and the snow and everything else will be set up at 4 this year instead of 5. That's great.
People are there when the golf carts arrive.
yeah. And see, a lot of people won't know that, so they can get on there and get through it. And then,
And I coordinate with Chip when Santa is arriving. Who's handling Santa? Because I got to not be in the middle of a recital when the fire engines go off. We've had those challenges. I'll check with him on that.
Santa, bad Santa.
We love Santa coming in, but boy, you try to do some music over those fire engines and forget it.
Any others?
Any other?
Nope,
upcoming?
that's it. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Chip's notes.
This new item, the leisure service learning moment. Are you on that?
Maybe something.
I
Chip
am.
had- Oh, she is.
Oh, look
She's
at
got-
that. Chip didn't say just go.
Left
He
me a
said,
whole bunch of notes here.
She's frantically reading through them all.
So he wanted to talk about our capital budget process. Are you all familiar at all with that? You've seen it in the budget, maybe? Okay, so, the Leisure Services Department is Parks, Rec, and Facility Maintenance Division. And then, so, Chip is responsible for updating our capital budget during the annual budget process. And then they use it for a scheduling mechanism for, project replacement and repair. The legacy costs of projects isn't in the initial investment, it's on the other end, right? So we have to make sure that we have the money, just like Richard Rogers Playground. Our capital budget addresses larger ticket items, anything over $10,000. So items that are included are playgrounds, athletic fields, windscreens, vehicles, tractors, mowers, gym floors, shade structures, elevator repairs, sports field lighting, air conditioner improvement. There's just a whole lot, anything over 10 grand. So other projects that are less than 10 grand, but greater than 2 are capitalized as well. But you'll see them in the general operating budget instead of the capital budget, but we still capitalize them. And those are things like a security system installation at State Street Center, or smaller playground pieces, or things like soccer goals. And we just bought a resistograph for the trees so that we can measure the health of the trees. And then, so those sorts of things. Should put together a nice little thing for me.
That's nice.
So, our budget focuses on the 6-year window. That's consistent with every other government that I've ever worked for. So, the 6-year schedule, and over the course of that 5 years, things move back or forward based on different factors, right? One of it's the financial capacity to fund them. So sometimes that, the city doesn't have the money right now to fund something, it needs to be pushed back. So we look at things that, what's an urgent need, what needs to be replaced, because some of those, replacing a truck is a big ticket item, or a playground for that matter. So, so this is the first year that we've done something that that we felt needed to be done, which was we put together a capital schedule, and I just wanted to show you all. I'm going to pass this around, but so we've put in kind of, you'll see in here, but it's got all of our city buildings. And so like Cypress Rec Center, it tells us the date that the cabinetry was put into the kitchen. What's the estimated lifespan of that? What condition is it? About an approximately of when it would be done. I always think of it in terms of, it's just a bigger scale. When you buy a new air conditioner for your home, I just had to do that. It was not fun. But I know probably in 10 years, I'm probably gonna need another one. So, it's the same thing when we look ahead. It's just at a larger scale. It's the same thing if, when you look at your own roof of your house. So we started doing this. And so I'm just going to pass this around just, so you guys, and you just use this as a guide. So it's important to know that it's just a guide. When we get closer to the years is when we really start thinking about how much it costs. So if something says it's $750, well, by the time it gets here, it could be $1,000, a ballpark figure.
Oh.
It's heavy.
That buzzing has something to do with that screen.
So this has really been an important tool for us, and we've included things in there, rec centers, library, city hall, park shelters, park restroom, and bridges, right? Some of the bigger ticket items. And then it's been a great tool for us to prepare. And about 2 weeks ago, we're already starting to prepare, right? We just entered we're in the first quarter of a new budget. So you guys know when that starts? It starts October 1?
October 1st, yeah.
Right, okay. So right away, we're already preparing for next year's budget. Wow. So we've been meeting with I say we, Alexis and Chip has been meeting with every department to figure out their capital needs for their buildings. So does this make sense? Is there something else that you need to replace this next year that's not on this list? Where do we add it? So they do full-on assessments just to make sure that we're capturing everything. And by doing this, it's really opens up the communication between the departments because they rely on the expertise. So this is something new for us to where they actually are doing site visits with the departments to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that it's all included. So that's just part of the work that they're doing in relationship to the capital budget.
I did hear that the lighting and stage equipment that we spoke to Chip on last year is, Bren mentioned, is going hopefully into the next year's budget since we've had those lights since the building was built.
Yeah, how old are those lights?
How old's the building there at the
Yeah,
rec center?
somebody asked me how old that building is.
It's got to be 10 to 15 years easily, if not longer. So the equipment we're using is probably about 20 years old, so.
Yeah, I understand that is going to be a request. So again, it just depends on where it kind of plays out.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Because, from a capital point from the city, we have to look at every single department and every single request and try to determine which ones absolutely need this year. So that's kind of how we approach that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions about that? Is that helpful?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, thank you. Informative.
All right.
Thank you. All right, number 6 is adopt amended bylaws, but one of our sharp members noticed in our current bylaws, November is when we're supposed to nominate a new chair and vice chair.
That is correct, the year before.
Yeah, so although we're not totally prepared for it, we can do this manually on slips of paper or by just discussing who wants to run.
You want to adopt the bylaws first?
Do we want to do that? Whatever you guys, it's up in the air here.
I think our adopting the bylaws doesn't affect needing to take care of chair and co-chair for the next year, correct?
No, shouldn't.
So I make a motion to adopt the changes that were made to our bylaws.
Okay, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Check.
Check. Next. Now we talk about that one.
Okay, now let's move on to nominating, so I guess basically, if you want to run for chair or vice chair, we should just, we can do this out in the open, it's no secret or whatever. So whoever wants to run for vice chair, just raise your hand.
And we do it as you can run for either one, depending on.
Yep, they're separate,
Yes.
separate
I would
races.
be interested in running for either position. I don't know how we need to do that way.
Ditto, okay, I'm not running. Anybody else? It's just two of you then,
Okay,
so,
so one of us is chair and one of us is vice chair.
right.
I'll take vice chair if you want to take chair, sir, if we want to do it, suggest it that
But
way.
there's no money exchanged hand
No,
here,
no, no, I
right?
just meant
So-
because Ken has had more experience chairing. I would be glad to take up the secondary position, so I would put my name in for vice chair.
If that's all in favor,
That's fine.
make
and
it,
a
let's make
second
it a
for all of
motion. I'll make a motion that Ken is chair and
second.
Suda is vice chair.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Done.
easy breezy.
Congratulations.
That was easy. So what?
Now we're moving on to our the money's the same.
Yeah. You got it, baby.
All right, the meeting, the last page of our printed work here has our schedule. First meeting for next year is February 10th, May 11th, August 10th, and November 9th.
Great. Do we need any approval on that, or?
Wait, didn't we forget something?
I would motion that we accept the,
The meeting,
see what they got there.
presentation of the meeting schedule.
Last page, Pat,
Oh, this down here. Oh, okay.
the very last page.
No, I got it. I just was thinking something else.
Motion to accept these dates.
I made the motion to accept the dates for 2020.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Check, check, and check.
Discuss renaming Windward Place in Oldsmar Sports Complex.
Oh, okay, that's what I was looking for.
What is Windward Place?
Is the street that connects Curlew and Tampa Road and goes through Oldsmar Sports Complex.
Oh, okay.
It's the back driveway.
I gotcha, where you come out when you're exiting. Okay, gotcha. And we're naming it
Is that the
to,
new name, or
Are
is
there,
that?
That is the existing name.
Okay.
so any
So-
suggestions?
It's a, yeah. It's a
Donnelly Drive,
suggestion.
is that what we're doing? Are we going for Donnelly Drive?
AD.
No.
Chip
I
Foley.
like that, though. I'll tell him that you suggested that.
Oldsmar Sports Drive? I mean, do we have
We have
recommendations, or are
do
we
you have
recommending?
suggestions, or?
I don't have suggestions. You know, I think the discussion now would be, is there interest? Windward Place. I couldn't find a connection to our history for that,
No?
right? I haven't heard of one. Is it appropriate for the sports complex? And if you guys would like to suggest renaming that to something else that may be more appropriate.
Is there any cost in renaming a street besides a sign?
Lightning or something.
no,
if
not
they're
that I know
donating
of.
for that.
Okay.
Lightning.
And then you don't have to make a decision now either. You could think about it
Lightning
and come
Way.
back next time.
Lightning, I was thinking because Lightning donated or something, do Lightning or Bolts.
Drive.
Oh, here's a better one.
Oldsmar Drive?
Bolts Way.
Drive.
Or,
I
well,
think we have a winner.
Oldsmar.
Oldsmar Boulevard.
Because,
Boulevard.
Be
We have a winner.
alliterative.
what?
Or
Oldsmar,
something, because they, I mean, that was a,
yeah.
That was a keyword.
crush.
Now,
Lightning
do you all
Lane
want to, Ann, is it okay if they talk, if they think about it and then come back?
Yeah, let's sleep on it.
That's,
Some time and come back at the next meeting.
Let's sleep on it.
Excellent.
Check, and check.
You know, so there's two questions really on the table, right?
Did we?
Do you want to change it?
Yeah.
That's one question. And then the next question is what to?
Okay.
right?
Right.
And then we'll make that suggestion from the Leisure Service Advisory Board to the city council, and the city council would be the ultimate authority. But maybe it takes some deliberation for you all to think about some suggestions,
Yeah,
and
give us a
then,
while to think about it. Let's,
I have a question.
yeah.
Does the city, I'm thinking here, would they be open to renaming it? Because
yes.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know, because the
Okay.
city
Oh.
council makes the ultimate
Yeah, we'd
decision.
have to,
That's what I'm saying,
suggest
we're gonna
it.
decide and we're gonna recommend it, and then they say, no, we wanna leave it like that.
well,
Then that's okay.
They rarely
I
turn
think
us
that-
down.
they wouldn't.
I think that the word windward, right, is that a sailing word?
Yeah.
Right, so I don't know how, there may be something that's more appropriate, and, so that's maybe something that you all want to discuss tonight, is that if you would like to suggest a change, maybe that's something to discuss for tonight,
The two
and then come back
suggestions
next
were
time with
great.
suggested changes.
Well, it's basically been brought to our
Too, when you
board
take that road.
to decide whether it should be changed. So somewhere, someone said, should we change the name of this in
Correct.
order to bring it to our board?
Correct.
I mean, I don't have any problem tabling it till next time. I don't have any problem making the decision now, so we can table it till next time.
I think just the connection somehow with the complex, the sports complex with, and maybe like, I mean, it could be something with Oldsmar, but I was thinking with the Lightning.
But the complex is not just the Lightning, that's
Right,
why,
right, yeah, because you've got the BMX there
Oldsmar is more
too.
general because it still has our Oldsmar in there, and it still references the Lightning, so.
Well, but
and I
it's the
think-
Oldsmar Sports Complex.
And that's why I
so-
said Oldsmar Sports Drive.
Oh.
So that was my original suggestion.
Well, that would help if people,
Wait a minute.
Is it possible to even have a contest between any of the sports that are in there, like Little League or soccer? And maybe ask
Well-
the kids if they have a name idea?
We're
We
not
should
a
have
big,
Chip look into see
we're
if we
not
can
in
get
a
any
big-
input from the people that are using the facility, and our group will think about it and put it on our next agenda, Ann, I guess, right?
Oh, yes. I'm gonna put it on the
yeah,
next
that's a good
I
idea.
think just
General
the
term,
idea of
athletic
having a
academy.
sign on there that identifies Oldsmar and it's a sports area would help somebody. Oh, this is where I need to turn, if they're not familiar with it.
Yeah.
So Oldsmar Sports something does cover that. Okay, so let's make a motion that we want to rename Windward Place.
So move to
We want,
what
we know
wanna-
we want to rename it.
So that's a yes.
Okay, I make a motion to rename Windward Place. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and make a motion at our next meeting to rename it.
With our suggestions at the next meeting, and if can be any input by the people that actually use the
Right.
facility.
Yeah, we might do it that night. If not, we'll have a better idea. Okay? I make a motion that we rename it or further information.
Put it on for our next agenda.
Yes,
Correct.
okay. We're at new business.
Anybody?
Anything?
I have one thing. Something's going on here, there's bugs crawling over
Yes.
here.
Yes.
I've been killing them.
Well, yeah, I just had 3 and I thought it was just me.
No,
No,
I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I saw them too. I've been going like this.
have ants.
Yes, they're tiny, tiny ones.
We get those in Florida.
I didn't see them before, though.
Well, I'm glad, we'll hope they're not crawling on you too
Well,
much.
it may be the weather, who knows?
That's my number.
Carmen says we got ants, got it, no.
Any new business with the city?
New business.
It's true, we've had, Carmen, we have had facilities is working on trying to eliminate our ant problem.
Thank you for that. Okay.
Never noticed
Any other new business, anybody? Okay. All right, we'll move on to board comments.
I have some
I'm sorry.
updates.
Oh, yes.
Did I skip something?
So,
You had some more updates. Project updates?
he's got parking at Cypress. They're exploring, staff is going to poke around under the ground to see if there's existing geomat underneath,
That's
and they'll go from there.
That may be in reference to the spots that Lynn Reeves removed a number of years ago that I've requested. They put the 5 spots back in because the parking is so challenging over there.
That's
Thank
what-
you. That was
exactly
one of
what
my-
that
On
is.
my list, thank you.
Bench in front of Cypress was ordered and delivered today.
Wonderful, thank
Oh,
you.
good.
Pickleball won't work on a shuffleboard court. because of the location and size.
Okay.
That makes sense. Shuffleboard's narrow, pickleball is not. We have a picnic table at Bicentennial at the basketball court. We're in the process of replacing the deteriorating benches in certain locations before adding new ones.
Okay, that was something I brought as well, thank you.
Alexis has been in contact with a vendor regarding the sealant. I'm assuming he's talking about the
Sealant on the water tower,
the
I
water
hope.
towers.
Thank you, and
he
I
does-
also gave Alexis the name of the Carl that originally did the artwork in case they need to do any touch-up.
Right, he told me that. And then IT installed a new system that covers 6,000 feet diameter, should be a good signal. It's the best that we can get. I'm assuming that he's talking about the Oldsmar Sports Complex Wi-Fi capability.
Or
Did
the
they-
rec center's Wi-Fi.
Or
because
the
we've
rec
been
center, either
complaining.
one or the
I have to
other.
teach dance holding my phone up to the ceiling.
Oh, so maybe that, the locations there, so it might
Okay.
be Cypress.
I'll watch for it
to
these
move
next
in
couple
that.
weeks as we test it. Thank
And
you.
then staff is in the process of getting quotes for shades for the dance room.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the updates that are in Chip's list.
Perfect.
So that was really kind of your comments. Going back to comments.
Okay, and that covered several of them. A reminder about something on the overhang of the electrical unit at the stage for Christmas Wonderland in case there's any rain. I know Chip's working on something temporary. We've also talked about trying to get something permanent down the road. The electrical boxes are exposed to the weather, and when we start running rehearsals down there, it creates challenges to protect those boxes and our equipment. You got the parking spaces, about our last meeting, I made a recommendation and I ran it by Bren and Chip and everybody agreed it sounded like a great idea, but no one's heard about it. I had offered to teach free ceramics classes to city employees, a free session to city employees and to the city boards. But none of the employees I've asked have ever received notice, and I don't think our board ever received any kind of notice to participate.
Wasn't that in the book? Or
Ceramics
I saw
class is
it-
in the
I
book.
saw somewhere
But I offered
where-
to teach a
Oh,
free
no, I
session.
saw that
yeah.
somewhere that I just read.
Yeah,
I'll check.
just check on that to make sure the announcement gets around for us. At the talent show, I guess we weren't able to have the city photographer there that's starting to take photos for the city. So I did send Anna, a couple of the others, just a couple, if you guys need access to more. Teresa and our team were able to photograph that event as
Who
well.
was videotaping that?
Teresa Scharf was videotaping it for us, and they're gonna make all the videos available for free of charge.
I was just wondering.
Through my Zenfolio site.
All right.
She's one of the dancers' moms,
Oh,
and
okay.
they've been very helpful to donate all their time to do video and photos for us. Are we doing still arts emails? We used to get an email like once a quarter about the arts and things that are happening, and I haven't seen one for a while. Just wondered if those have gone away or...
Yeah, we're not doing specific e-newsletter for parks or for arts.
Okay, we were for the arts for a little while, and then just past 6 months, I haven't seen anything,
Really-
so.
We're really focusing
I-
on the magazine.
Yeah, I was wanting to say it came out of Karen or somebody like that, whoever was doing it, I don't recall, but it was a nice extra for those of us especially liking to keep updated a little more regularly than just quarterly. So it's just something that is great if we can encourage it. I also will talk to you more privately and Chip about working on arts grants for these programs that are in the arts. We have people that are willing to do the legwork, which takes so long, but we would need to work with the city's grant team as well. So we'll talk to you more about that. And the Opal Theater, I am very proud, is doing excellent, but it's almost all dancers, which means I pulled in my team. I need continued help. I see it came out at Oldsmar Elementary. I'm doing a teach-in this Wednesday. Volunteering my time for a couple hours to get to the kids and let them know about the theater and dance programs. So just continue to help pass the word about our Opal Theater. They average 20 kids a year, and they were none of my dancers. So
I volunteer at Oldsmar with, I have a third grade class that I sponsor. I'll mention that.
yeah, I'm doing the
Because I'm
teach-in
going
this week, but yeah,
tomorrow, but
pass
I
the
mean, I'll
word.
mention that when I go to them, so they'll know. Okay.
Great. And also your new arts coordinator that I did get to meet and visit with at the last art reception. I was very impressed with. She's on the ball. I'm anxious for her to be able to grow in whatever extent you guys have it. And I did get included in the call to artists for the photography, juried photography exhibition. And I assume that's an extension of the city's send in 3 photos and there's winners, but now it's actually going to be juried and held as a art reception, which I thought was kind of nice too.
So it's a little different. So
Okay.
before we had done the photo contest, just really for the budget book and to expand, our collection of being able to use great photos.
Right, and
for-
that's what Ann's done the past couple years where we've sent stuff in just through emails, right?
All of that is under communication, marketing, and the arts, which is Felicia.
Okay, so
not mine
it's
anymore.
2 different things. So, but you won't be running yours again. You'll be using whatever they select from this. Okay, gotcha.
So we decided to evolve that concept and then actually have an exhibition with the photography.
Perfect, I think that's great. And I also have had a couple of artists ask how do they get in line for exhibitions for art at City Hall. I know you guys go through typically changing. I know we always have the children's and stuff like that.
All Lisa.
Okay, you got it. Thank you. That was all I had. Thank you, everybody.
Gina?
I had a question about the playground at Rogers Park. Are there going to be sunshades installed there? I saw a lot of people commenting about the need for that at the parks, and I thought that the one
So
that we
the
looked
short
at.
answer is that we didn't budget for this shade. We're looking at some alternatives. There's many playgrounds without shade.
Yeah.
And there is shade respite there. There's a very large pavilion with picnic tables under it. So we are looking at some options, but we didn't have the capital funding to provide shade. We just had it to replace the equipment.
Okay. And then the sunshades from the BMX track, are they just down because it's not in use and they're in storage or something?
Correct. So we took them down during Dorian, and they're so labor intensive to take down and to put back up that we didn't see a need to reinstall them until the track is fixed, because if another storm comes through, we got to take them back down. So
Right.
they're safely in storage.
And that's great anyway, because it keeps them from the weather.
Yeah.
Any weather that
Right,
comes
they'll
about
look
while the
new
thing's
when
not.
they're replaced.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're so high up there that it's very labor intensive. So that's one less thing that we have to worry about if something else should happen.
Someday we'll break it all out again.
and then is there any possibility of us, I think I've asked this before, but is there any possibility of us ever going back to monthly meetings? Because I think it's only us and the firefighters pension and the veterans board that do quarterly. Is that right?
I don't have the answer for you for that, because wasn't it a council decision that to go quarterly? So, that is
Recommended to council that we go quarterly and they just approved it.
that's a
So
city.
I guess she's asking, how do we request it? What's the process? If our board, for example, would request that we go more regularly, what's the process?
I guess to make a motion and request it.
Right, I mean, yeah, you could request council to make that change.
I think that's something we can continue to
So
discuss.
I think, Gina, for your answer, I think the process would be to, have this board make a motion, request that the council consider the change.
Agenda item for February.
Yeah.
Can I recommend or make a motion that we put that on as an agenda item for February?
Okay.
So for
If that's
further
okay with
discussion?
the chair?
Sure. I won't be the chair then.
I second
That's
that.
true, but you get to approve it now.
Do it. Okay?
Do they need to vote on that, Ann?
No, I could just
They
add.
just add it, okay.
This is an item.
Thank you.
This is an action item. Gina, you good?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Ken?
Just to echo Pat's comments about the Veterans Day ceremony today, outstanding. Speaker had a lot of alacrity. And he was like,
Word,
yeah,
I
great
tell you,
work,
it's
yeah.
word for the
Oh, he
public
was-
day.
He was excellent. And just for your information, I volunteered for the ribbon thingy on State Street and also for the tree lighting ceremony.
Oh,
I
great.
guess somebody will be in touch or, yeah.
So you go online to do that, the request?
Oh, we have to go online.
I guess. That's it.
Okay. Because I wasn't here when that came up last
One more,
meeting.
back up, Tom.
I forgot something, sorry. I won't be able to make it to Sunset Sounds on the 15th either. It's my son's 21st birthday, and we're going on a little dinner cruise, so.
It wouldn't be a good birthday present, would it, taking him out to? Okay, you good, Ken?
Yes.
Okay. Any comments?
Oh, no, I thought you said, are you good then? No,
You good? Okay. Tom, good? I'm good too. So, our next meeting is February 10th. February 10th, 2020. It looks weird just looking at that date, 2020. Okay.
Make a motion, we
Adjourn?
adjourn?
Second? All in favor?
Aye. I'll go teach Opal at 7 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.
Cutting the crash.
Thank you. Thank you.